All right, well, we were very rudely interrupted by the fact that I am cheap and I haven't bought the upgraded version of Screencastify. So I will get on that. And in the meantime, let's get back to fermentation. So we were talking about fermentation. We're in yeast now. We're going to make alcohol and carbon dioxide from pyruvate in the absence of oxygen. Okay, so it's very similar to lactic acid fermentation, as the main goal is to regenerate NAD+. Okay, so this talks about the process of it, but again, end of the day, electrons from NADH are used as the energy to power the conversion of pyruvate into ethanol, which is ethyl alcohol, and carbon dioxide. Okay, and this regenerates NAD+, which can feed back into glycolysis and keep it running. So let's have a look at that. So here is our alcohol fermentation. As you see, it looks very familiar. The beginning part is, of course, exactly the same, glycolysis. We use up to NAD and get NADH. We use we produce a net of 2 ADP. Oh, God, again, dude, get up in the bubble. And make 2 ATP. And at the end of glycolysis, we have pyruvate. So there's no oxygen. So those pyruvate are going to go into fermentation. And this time it's alcohol fermentation. And at the end of alcohol fermentation, we have 2 ethanol and 2 carbon dioxide. Now, lactic acid fermentation, I mean, it does serve a purpose in our muscles. It actually helps us to build more muscle mass. But of course, the end products of alcohol fermentation are much more fun to deal with and have been exploited by humans. So one thing that alcohol fermentation is used to do, of course, is to leaven bread. Okay, what does leaven mean, you ask? Alcohol fermentation in yeast, right? You need to add yeast. You're making a loaf of bread. You put in the yeast. You let it sit for a while. And what happens to the dough? Oh, it rises. What do you think makes the dough rise? Lift up. Get light and fluffy. Oh, Dr. K, I believe that is carbon dioxide. Why, yes, it is. So the carbon dioxide gas bubbles are released into the bread and it makes the bread rise. And if you look at a slice of bread, the next time you have a slice of bread in your hand, if you look at it, it has all of these little air pockets. And those pockets are from the gases of carbon dioxide. And you know how sometimes you get like a big hole in your bread? That is a big hole, a big ball of carbon dioxide. Okay? And is alcohol also produced when we make bread? Of course it is. But why don't we get the effects of alcohol when we eat the bread? Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Oh, that's right, because we cook it. So in cooking the bread, the alcohol evaporates off and we're just left with some nice fluffy CO2 bread and it is delicious. Yum. Bread is good. Obviously, this process is also used to make alcohol that we drink. It's used to make beer and wine. Grain alcohols are used to produce in a slightly different manner, but the ethyl alcohol in beer, right? Beer is produced by this process, anaerobic fermentation with yeast. So that process produces the alcohol in beer. And of course, the bubbles in beer that make it fizzy are the carbon dioxide. Okay. But you guys wouldn't know anything about that. I'm sure none of you have ever seen nor touched a beer in your life because you're very good children. Okay. And then I think we have one more slide. And look, there is yeast in action. Anaerobic respiration. I really need to work on my handwriting. Fermentation. Ready? CO2, CO2, CO2. All is making this bread rise. Okay? And then put it in the oven and yum, yum, bread. That does not look like a happy, licky, yummy face, but it'll do. All right. And that's it for fermentation. Again, what is the moral of the story? Not to get exciting bread, but to make NAD+, so that glycolysis can continue. And why do we need glycolysis to continue? So we can make ATP. So we can continue to live and not die in 90 seconds. Killed my happy face. Okay, that's it. Have a pleasant evening.